Welcome to the Zen AF Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Julia Garcia Devaney. I'm a life and mindset coach for female founders, and my mission is to help thousands of ambitious, busy women become the number one asset in their life and business. Tune in as I share with you the behind the scenes of my own ambitious journey and help you bring the Zen back into your hustle so you can create the impact you desire and truly love your own ambitious journey as well. Welcome, and let's get into the episode. Hey, my ambitious babes, how are you guys doing? How are you feeling? Happy to be recording this for all of you a week in advance. Hey, I'm thriving. At this point, there's no baby, but I'm at the point of pregnancy where she can come in 2 hours, 2 days, or 2 weeks. So we will see. I will keep you guys posted on that. For now, I am able to record this a week in advance. You know, I was so nervous to give birth this time around because I have so many different expectations and also so much other experience with 2 previous labors. And luckily, you kind of get to the point at the end of pregnancy, if you make it towards the end of, being full term, where you're just like, I don't care how she comes out, what the experience is. I'm just looking forward to not being pregnant anymore. So seeing the silver linings in all of it. Any hoots, no big update in terms of business stuff, other than, again, still very close to getting the sample process done. Just looking forward to, and my goal is really to just have that sample process done and over with by the time she comes. So if I could at least have that payment in and have it being shipped my way, that would be totally amazing. But again, at the mercy a bit of other people and their timing on things. And hopefully this is just going to be this first time around, and I'm learning a lot in terms of timelines and communication and so on and so forth, and just realistic expectations and deadlines. So hoping to have all the learnings in that regard. So speaking of all of this and also all the motherhood stuff, I feel like it's been a while since I've touched on many things motherhood, which I also want to share on this podcast because it's part of my Zen AF hustle, right? It is part of the things that take me out of being so Zen AF is my kids, because I care so much, right? So this episode is really inspired by a lesson I was teaching my daughter recently, my oldest daughter, who I feel like has really come down to this earth with some karmatic energy towards me. And, I say it lovingly, of course, but she definitely has always been quite challenging and gives me a run for my money compared to my second daughter, who usually just looks at her older sister and is like, yeah, I don't want to get in trouble like that, or I don't want to have to do that or go through that. So I'm just going to do whatever I'm supposed to do. But my oldest definitely kind of tests the limits. And she gives me a lot to kind of learn from. And she actually challenges me to really dive into processes and define terms, which I actually really love as well. She allows me to really practice a lot of my own tools and my own, and then do my own work basically to really help her establish better skill sets. A lot of that having to do with ultimately managing her emotions. This is a skill set that many of us did not develop early on. We were not fortunate to have certain parents that were conscious of this kind of concept, or they just had naturally different temperaments and ways of kind of going about things. Me personally, I had reactive kind of parents in a sense where, they would yell and things like that. And Honestly, I don't blame any of them. When I was the youngest of 7, it's like at this point, like I just feel, I really feel for my mom and everything that she had to potentially go through. And, the fact that she was reactive and stuff, like I totally get it. So the fact that my daughter's 5 years old, is, it really is comparative even to us at any age, because, we essentially revert back to dealing with our emotions the same way we did in childhood. So whether we were reactive or fawny or flighty or whatever, that's essentially how we also react even in adulthood. So I wanted to share like a situation that happened with my 5-year-old, in hopes that it'll help you also kind of understand and navigate your own emotions. And those emotions were jealousy and patience. Those are the kind of the two things that I had to define for her. The situation was that I brought home a birthday present for one of their friends who was going to be having a birthday party. And of course, she saw the present and immediately felt big emotions. She didn't know what she was feeling exactly, but she instantly, had a huge emotional reaction to the present. She wanted it. She started throwing herself on the floor and all this stuff, like just had a huge meltdown in regard, like just in response to me having gone and getting the present essentially without her and also for somebody else, things like that. So the first thing I did is I tried to talk to her, which obviously when there's so much emotions are high, logic is pretty much low, but nonetheless, that's what I did. And again, not the best approach, but I'm also wanting to be very, very honest in terms of what my capacity was. So at first I was just like very, trying to like reason with her and then tell her, know that that's for her friend. And of course, this just like made her more upset. I instantly felt myself get a little bit more reactive and triggered because, the last thing I want is like a spoiled little brat or something like that, right? Which is where my head goes, where it's like, just again, being very candid and very honest. It's not that I have a child like that by any means. It's just where my head went. Whereas like, that's like a big, trigger for me. And like, I would not want to essentially raise a human being like that. Right. So at first I got kind of defensive, kind of triggered. And I was like trying to calm her down more for my sake than anything. Right. And then kind of when I realized that, where it was like, I was trying to do that more for my sake than her sake, I had to step away while she continued to have her meltdown. And I had to kind of gather myself in the sense of like, what is best for her? Because I was feeling a little bit of resentment towards her for acting the way that she was acting. So once I was able to do that, it only took me like a couple moments because I realized like, okay, it's just not going to work. Like if one of us doesn't budge and I'm the adult here, then, it should be me. None of this is going to get resolved. So I calmed myself down. I was able to try to approach her and calm her down. And I needed to be able to do that and needed to get her to breathe and just regulate her nervous system in some way. So I literally held her like a baby and like tapped her back like a baby. And just to give her some of that stimulation. Like you see this with like EFT and, breath work and all sorts of things where, we just want to regulate that nervous system in some kind of which way, whether it's tapping on the body, or just taking deep breaths. So I was just there with her and I held her and I helped her kind of co-regulate, right? Like I regulated myself while I was helping her regulate as well. And this is key because, like, until we can, like, actually calm down a little bit and see the situation for what it is, like, we cannot, again, when emotions are high, logic is low, and it's very hard for us to get into the part of our brain where we can actually pay attention and understand and what have you. So that was really, really an important step. And again, it took a lot for me to get to that place where I could do that. But it is up to me since I am the adult in the situation, right? And after she calmed down a tiny bit, I mean, like, you could tell, like, her little nervous system was doing something, like, 'cause she was, like, very tense and very upset, like, just very, very, very clearly upset. Like, she was massively triggered. She massively felt something. And so that's the next step that we kind of took, is that we understood and we tried to label what it is that we are feeling, what is that she was feeling, right? So I first pinpointed to her that she might be feeling jealous. And so I went ahead and defined in as, most practical, simple terms as possible, how we can define jealousy, right? And the way I define it for her is that when you want something and you think you can't have it, that's when you feel jealous, right? I tried to explain to her that it's okay to feel that way. It's okay for her to feel upset about whatever it is that she's feeling, and like whatever it is that she's recognizing. However, it's not okay for her to throw herself on the ground, make a huge scene, and, yell at me and do all these other things, right, that she was doing. But I told her, we need to, name what we are feeling. And right now she was feeling jealousy because she wanted this present. I went without her to get it. She's not going to get it. It's not hers, this and that. So she wants something and she thinks that she can't have it. So I just had her recognize that she wants it, and it's okay to recognize that you want something, right? And the second thing that I did is I asked her, like, did I say that you couldn't have this thing, right? And she said no, right? Like, because I didn't. I said, if you get your stickers for the week, we can go at the end of the week and we can get the same present for you. Like, that's not a problem. So really, it's kind of a thought error that she thinks that she can't have it, right? Because I didn't say that she couldn't have it, and she acknowledged that. I just told her that she might need to wait a little bit and also get the stickers that she wants, that she gets in terms of, the sticker sheet that we have that gets her kind of that reward at the end of the week, right? It has her earn a certain thing that she wants, which is a whole nother thing that we're doing. And again, it's working super well. Like, they're very incentivized by getting these stickers, and it's just simple things like eating your breakfast and brushing your teeth and, just breaking little habits and establishing good habits that we've been working on lately. I did this because, again, like, I don't think it serves her by any means for me to just say, oh, okay, like, you're having a big reaction. You wanted this? Yes, you can have it. You can have it. It's a lot of work and very uncomfortable to see your kid so uncomfortable and knowing that you could potentially fix it right away just by telling her what she wants to hear and giving her what she wants. I just don't believe that this serves her in the long run, which is why I kind of put that stipulation on. So once we had established that she was feeling some jealousy, but however, it was a thought error because, she's allowed to have it. It's just that she has to wait. Now, what is she feeling, right? It's impatience. So I defined that for her as well. I've done a whole episode on patience before, I'm pretty sure. And with the same kind of like from the same place, right? Because this one of the things that I work really hard to like try to teach my kids is patience. And I define patience as wanting something, right? Like you're going to get it, but you have to be happy while you wait. You have to wait. You're going to get it. You have to wait, and you have to be happy when you wait, right? Those are the terms of patience, right? And how to have patience, because you can't, be upset and mad and asking for it. If it's a Wednesday and I told you can get it on a Friday, you can't be mad every single day until Friday. You can't be mad and asking for it and being insistent and persistent with it every single day until Friday. Like, patience to me is having that grace and understanding that you want something, you will get it. However, you just have to wait for it, and you have to be happy while you wait. Because if you make everybody's life miserable until then, right, then that's not really being patient. That's just, I don't know, being something else, impatient, basically. So I explained to her that concept again. And, we talked about it. She was able to calm down. She was able to really understand and listen. And, did she ask me a couple more times between Wednesday and Friday about it and just kind of reassure that we're going to go, that she was going to get it and stuff like that? Yes. And I had to remind her that is impatient, right? Not being patient, because if she is at all getting kind of upset about having to wait, then that is not the same as patience. And this is like, the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because, it was very useful for me, because this is a skill set. Being patient is a skill set that like I really had to learn. And as an ambitious woman, right, as you guys are, sometimes patience is not it's not a skill set that is really strong or honed by us, right? We will overwork and try to over control things in order to have things right when we want them. Sometimes this is not the worst thing in the world, right? But then there's sometimes things that just happen in their own time. One of the biggest skill sets you can have as an entrepreneur, as an ambitious person, is the ability to delay gratification. And this is really what it comes down to. I'm not saying that you can't have things when you want them and things like that. It's more so, can you develop the skill set of delayed gratification, right? Can you develop the skill set of processing uncomfortable feelings in the meantime, while you kind of wait for this thing to happen, or, work towards this thing, that you're trying to make happen. These, concepts there are so simple, right? But so meaningful and so essential for success. And not just success, but like enjoying your journey, which you guys, know by now that that's the whole premise of the Zen AF hustle, right? Is like how to inject that Zen back into your hustle, right? Because you can, again, control, force, do all the things to try to make it happen and hurry up and make it happen and hurry up and get to the next step and then the next step and check it off. But you are missing that whole point A to point B process, and you're also not enjoying it. You just want to like get to the end of the day, get to the end of the checklist, get to the next step without enjoying all of it, right? This is a very, very easy pitfall to fall into. And it's all about, and it has somewhat to do with that shiny object mindset pitfall, right? Where it's like, this isn't shiny, like this isn't fun anymore. I'm just going to jump to the next thing to get that instant gratification hit again, right? Like the starting a new business and starting the next project and, not finishing things. It like all has to do with the same thing in terms of that patience and that skill set of delaying gratification. And I know that this is going to serve my daughter more than the uncomfortable feelings that I have to go through in terms of feeling triggered, the patience that I have to have with her, and like I have to reach deep into my soul in order to meet her where she's at, even though my capacity is limited right now with, just day-to-day life and being pregnant and all that stuff. It is hard. Like, I promise you, it is hard. It's much easier even for me to just say, yes, you'll get it. Don't worry. Like, just be quiet for the love of God. Like, don't cry anymore, right? Because that's uncomfortable for me and it's challenging for me. But I know it's not going to serve her because she's an ambitious girl. Like, she was literally just born that way. And I've talked about this before too. She just has this very amazing quality, but that needs to be honed, right? So if I don't help her hone in this quality of hers of wanting things now and wanting to be the best and wanting to be first and all the things that she is already naturally, right? Because Lord knows I didn't teach her that. She's only 5. Then it'll get out of hand. Not only will it get out of hand, but she will not enjoy her life as much as she could, right? That's the key. And that's why it's important for me to like do the work first and help her do her work at the same time. And why I'm sharing this learning with all of you too, right? Because again, it's something that is in us to want to control and force and make things happen and have things now. But most things, especially like goals and, things that we are building and creating, they do not happen overnight. And if you look at even nature, if you plant a seed, it obviously does not sprout overnight, right? So most things do require that patience, and they do require a delayed gratification. And most people fail because they are unable to hone or master that skill set of patience, of delayed gratification, right? And even if they do, right? Even if they do, sometimes it's just not even as enjoyable again because they're not taking the time to really feel happy along the way, enjoy the actual journey, right? Because again, being patient is you're going to get it. You just have to wait. But you also have to be happy while you wait, right? That's the key. That's the difference. But always looking for the next check mark that you can, check off your to-do list, or the next whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Then you're not enjoying your journey. You are literally just trying to get to the next point, to the next milestone. And when you get there, you don't celebrate, right? I know you guys like the back of my hand. And which is why I'm developing tools for all of you, including the Zen AF Wellness Planner that has a lot to do with this as well. So yeah, it's 2 parts. It's definitely that delayed gratification and being able to be patient. And it's also just enjoying the journey. Even like my own hubby not too long ago came to me and he was just like, basically like, oh, there's just one thing after another, and there's always like somebody and something and whatever. And so, just not to get into details, but I kind of highlighted for him like, listen, it seems like from what you're telling me, you're literally just trying to check things off the list. Like, you have to take a moment and kind of remember how you started and where you started from. He was about to have a meeting with a really important person. I was like, could you imagine like this moment, like, however many years ago? Could you imagine like having, being here now? Like, you probably couldn't even imagine that, right? So, there's a possibility that this time in your life where you feel like you're in a grind, and I get it, but there's probably going to be a time that you want to look back and say, wow, I've come so far, and those were actually like some of the best moments of this whole journey. And like, you don't want to miss that. You want to be able to look back on your journey and say like, oh, those were juicy and I really enjoyed it and I lived them to the fullest and all the things, and I appreciated them to the fullest, right? We don't want to just make it to the end of that checklist, make it to the end of the day, you really have to catch yourself there. And like, not that I could give so much, personal kind of advice on the matter in terms of like the scale of what he's working towards, right? But like, I remember when my first daughter was a baby, and I would literally be army crawling to bedtime, like she would just take it so much out of me. And I was building a business, my business at that time too, online. So I would work during her nap times, and, I had no help in the house. I had no help with her. So it was just me and her all day. And I just remember thinking at some point, like, oh my God, I'm just trying to make it to the next nap time. I'm just trying to make it to the next bedtime. And that's not the way I want to live my life. I live my life for experiences. I really, really value experiences. And that includes my life. And I really have to be mindful and conscious of how I'm living it. And if I'm just living for the next bedtime or the next nap time, then I'm missing the plot, right? I need to think, be a little bit more mindful of how I'm spending my time and the thoughts that are going through my mind at that time. And so that I can, and like, what do I need to do to enjoy my time a little bit more? And some of it was just being a little bit more mindful and not thinking about the next nap, but actually having whatever I was going to do prepared already. And I knew exactly what I was going to do. I didn't have to think about it or whatever, but I could actually be present and in the moment with her. And now I get to look back at that time and think like how fun our mornings were. And I always had breakfast with her, and like we would always put on music in the living room and like dance, and like it was just so much fun. And that's how I look at it now. I do remember that she was quite challenging, quite demanding in terms of energy and all sorts of things. But I also remember so many fun times, right, within that. And that's the best way to even describe that. It's just like, not even that it was bad at all. It was just like, wow, she really demanded so much of me, which was just an amazing lesson within itself, right? It's just forcing me to be super present, super mindful, and super conscious with her and with my own thoughts and my own energy and my own emotions and everything. Like it was a beautiful, beautiful lesson. So that's what I shared with him, and that's what I'll share with you, is again, just being more mindful of like how you are going about your journey, how you're going about your days, how you're going about your goals, how you're going about achieving things in your life. And are you really being patient, right? Or are you being impatient? Are you just wanting to get to the next thing and complaining about it and looking for it and all the things? Or are you being present and open for the possibilities and the, whatever it is, opportunities and people and all the beautiful things that kind of come into play in that journey to even like make it come faster and be better, right? Enjoying that journey so much more in your day to day, right? Moment by moment, by actually being happy while you wait. I guess the other thing I had touched on was jealousy too. And again, like I shut it down pretty fast, because it was like, again, the definition for that was, you want it and you think you can't have it. That's jealousy, right? And that's what I want to offer for all of you guys is jealousy is really just a way to say like, oh yes, I want this. And that's an amazing awareness, right? Like that's a gift. It's like, oh, I actually want this, right? And the fact that you think you can't have it is usually false. So I really just think jealousy is a thought error in itself. You can always have whatever it is that you want in your own way. It might look different than whatever it is that you are looking at, right? Like if you want somebody's man, you probably are not going to have that man, and you shouldn't, because you shouldn't be a homewrecker. However, you can have some of the qualities of that man, right? So you really want to get a little bit more detailed in terms of like what it is that you actually want, right? So I never think that you can't have it. So again, I think just jealousy in a nutshell is a little bit of a thought error, but it's a great indication of your desires and your wants, and also a great indication of like, the details of what it is about that thing that you want, right? Because you can always have it. Well, anyways, so I hope that this motherhood kind of example helped you as much as it's helping me. Our kids are such an amazing mirror and learning opportunity, and so many things in terms of like personal growth. And I'm doing my best and just trying to share the little nuggets along the way. So let me know if this helped, and I'll talk to you guys hopefully next week. Love you. Bye. Thanks for listening, Ambitious Babe. If you loved this episode, take a screenshot and share your favorite takeaways with me at Julia Garcia Devaney, and be sure to leave us a review, as that would mean so much. And if you're ready to put the Zen back into your hustle and love your ambitious journey, be sure to download the Get Zen AF app, where you'll learn to prioritize yourself and truly become the #1 asset in your life and business. It's available in the App Store and Google Play. Check out the links in the show notes, and I'll see you inside.